These people have decided to attack us politically. We must go political because the end goal of all this fight is in the ballot. Remember, 8 million young people in 2022 took their votes, but they never casted. 8 million is a very big number.
Yes.
If you are to follow me to a battle, to fight for justice and people are using guns, you need a gun. Take a certain ministry and go after it. By 2027, everything is going to be put on the table. And if the government is going to sit on a specific table to discuss anything that is going to shape or rather reshape or rather redeem the lost glory of this nation, and we the youth are not part and parcel of that table, we have to break that table.
This is Mentor Show, and today we are focusing on young people in governance. And I have hosted a young man, also an activist, a very energetic youth leader, and a politician, also an engineer. He's going to introduce himself to this show and also tell us more about what he thinks is the future of youths in this country. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Faith. My name is Akal Simba. EH is Eliud Hesbon. Yes. By profession, I dwelled in cyber security, that's in the field of tech. I am currently pursuing a course in electrical engineering, which I'm almost completing. So I'm so much versed in the things to do with numbers, engineering, figures, all that. I love governance. I love activism in a right cause, because there's activism not in a good cause and there's activism in a right cause. I'm heavy in politics as well, because there are most of the things that I would want to change in Kenya, and I've looked at the spectrum of everything in this nation, and the best way I can do that is to go political. So that's why most people term me as a politician. Yeah.
And how was your transition from now being an engineer to a political activist?
Let me say this. You can never measure the intellectual capacity of a person using one thing or rather one exam. You do one thing today very well and find something inside it that you can even do more better. So in my life, as in the engineering field, I came to realize that I can actually I can be so good in the things to do investigations. Through looking at the engineering locus as a whole, I came to realize that there's more into it than what I was doing. And I came to realize as well that through that passion of studies, I can also use the knowledge that I acquired to try inflict some positivity outside here. So a few years back, there is somebody in the political or rather leadership line that I admired because of things to do with intellectual capacity and all that, and his way of reasoning. And through that field of studies and all that, I came to get in contact with this person. And he is the first person who actually introduced me in politics. The first time I played politics was in 2022, which I was so much heavy on politics. I tried working with the Azimio la Umoja. Not that I tried, I actually worked with them in 2022. I was so full that things would turn the way we wanted, but we all know what happened.
That person you have mentioned, will you mind mentioning the name?
Yeah, I don't mind. That is Babu Owino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is Babu Owino. So I was, that time I was at home doing some things, and I received a phone call I'm needed in Nairobi. I came to Nairobi, and the first person I came to meet in the political life who actually welcomed me was Babu Owino. He gave me my first job in politics. So actually the first people who were looking after his you know, the political line in Embakasi East, that was in 2022, and the victory was on our side. I came to realize, wow, this is how this thing is actually being done. So in this, guys, I felt there is how power at some point is actually sweet, but it becomes sweeter when you know what you want to do with it. Yeah.
Okay, now as a youth leader, what do you think, or how do you see that youths is affecting the youths within the country?
What is affecting the youths in our country?
Yes.
There are a lot of things that are affecting the youths in this country. Number one, misrepresentation in Kenya. I would not sit here today and give you, you know, the whole thing, but I want to, you know, touch on the most important things that I felt we should talk about. Misrepresentation is one. And another thing, the youths think, at this point, the youths of Kenya think that the government cares about them. The government don't care about the youth. Because what we've seen, what they've exhibited, let me use the current government, the Kenya Kwanza regime, what they've exhibited since they came into power 2 years ago. They've actually shown the youths of this country that they don't care. And as much as you'll cry, they don't care about the pain you feel. So that is two. I've talked about misrepresentation, and I've talked about the lack of information. You think that these people care about you, and they don't care about you. And another thing that I've realized about the youth of this country is that the youth are not consistent in what they want. You reach a certain point, you develop fear, then you back up. In revolution, there are actually 4 steps, and it reached the 4th step. I think if we've seen the recent movement for the Gen Z, that people were demanding for accountability. All the things they were demanding is in the constitution, but they reached a certain step, and people decided to back off. In case of retaliation, they back off. So there is no consistency in the youth of Kenya. Otherwise, people are so much well informed. They are bubbling with a lot of ideas outside here. You give them a platform, they'll actually tell you what they feel needs to be aired for them. Because everything they're demanding is in the constitution. It is in all those memoranda that has been shared by the government all through. Yeah.
You are already in a movement.
Yeah.
How is the movement assisting or addressing this issue of the youths within the country?
We have done quite a good, we've been so heavy on civic education.
And which one is it?
I'm the chairman of Kenya Youth Federation.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Among other youth groups that are youth-led organizations that are in Kenya, I'm the chairperson of Kenya Youth Federation, and we've been so heavy on civic education. We've been so heavy in demanding accountability, and the youths have been seeing this. People have been responding positively. So I believe that for one hand that gives, another hand must receive. War cannot be won in a day. We cannot win war in a day. And I believe that at some point, all the things that we are fighting for in this nation will come to bear fruits. So most of the things that we've actually been engaging in civic education, we've traversed this country, most of the counties, we've met people, we've talked to people, and there are some more plans that we have for the youth in the next 2 to 3 years from now. Yeah.
You have been advocating for the issue of land injustices, minerals, and such things. How do you think, can you talk about the achievements or some of the significance in these ongoing battles in this area?
The biggest achievement is that people know what we are doing.
Yes.
That is my biggest achievement. You don't need to get any reward from this, but personally, my biggest reward is that people actually come to realize that what we are fighting for is of a good cause. People have also decided to show cause positively to what you are fighting for. And that is the biggest achievement so far for me, because there is more than meets the eye in this country. The people have to know, the youths of Kenya have to know that the government will never ever show you what they feel you shouldn't know. They will never. And for everything that you see happening, everything currently happening in this nation is politics. people will call it whichever name they want to call it, like what is currently happening between the two parties that have been engaging seriously in the political spectrum, joining hands to become a broad-based government. This is purely politics, and that is out of their own personal interests. So everything that happens in politics is not by coincidence. Nothing happens by coincidence in politics. And the people have to know this. The young people have to know this. If something happens, even if it seems accidental, it was planned. And the government is so clever that when you start talking about this thing and you start digging deep, people will look at it as a conspiracy. Because they know how to hide this kind of an information. I think we've been seeing, since the broad-based government has been formed, the people who are at the Supremo, who are at one organ, are actually saying, we didn't know about this. Some of our members were taken, they were given positions there. We didn't know about this. That is a lie. Nothing happens by coincidence. You can't tell me that he didn't know about this. Out of all the intelligence that they govern. So these people sit on the table, they parcel out the map of Kenya, and then they decide the specific points they feel they should pick or touch for their own personal benefits. So for all the cries that you are going to outlay in the streets, on media, through writings, anything, they are not going to listen to you. Yeah.
And there's this issue of court, these people adjourning courts and also escaping justice, and especially the issue of land injustices. What do you say about that?
I've been one of those people who've been at the helm of fighting for land injustices in Kenya, because we've experienced expropriation of land without compensation. Currently, there was an issue where there was 500 acres land grabbing in Taita Taveta. I call it land grabbing because it was not constitutional. We were demanding for a gazette notice from the PS mine. They did not give a gazette notice. They were saying that there was public participation in order for that land to be given out to that investor. It is called Devki Group of Companies to invest. There was no public participation. So you come to realize that these people use some type of laws that we do not understand to fight against us. They'll tell you that if you look at most of the things they've been engaging, like the land grabbing in Taita, the 500 acres, they tell you that the Land Amendment Act 2012 number 3, it was on that virtue that they decided to give out that land. But you realize that before using that law, before that land is given, the president ought to have signed a gazette notice done, an announcement done, and a public participation. None of those was carried out. So land injustice is one of the areas that I am so heavy on. And without any iota of fear, I want to tell people outside there, no matter how long it is going to take, because we've seen scenarios whereby international organization, the government makes international treaties with the organizations whom we don't even understand, to lease our lands for more than 100, 500 years without informing the public. So however long this is going to take, we will actually one day, I believe in a country led by the rule of law and there's democracy. One day we are going to reclaim all this land. People must be given land, because despots are eating chicken while people are sleeping homeless in the streets of Kibra. That is one thing that the people have to know, and the people should not allow such kind of things to befall us in this century, where people are so much well informed. The media is there. You've got everything you need at your fingertips to outlay that message outside here. So the people must know everything that is going on. If today it is going to be Taita, tomorrow it is going to be your home. The other day, the next day it is going to be your neighbor. So there is a Swahili term that says, ukiona mwenzako ananyolewa, yako tia maji. So I believe that if you see an injustice being done to your neighbor, just know that you are next. And for those other counties that think that they are going to be left aside, they are not going to be left aside. This regime is rogue. And they are here for only one purpose: to make sure that they satisfy their insatiable needs. That is all.
Do you feel like you guys are being given equal opportunities in government? If not, what do you think should be done?
I would use the word equity. Yeah, because to me, equality seems something else. If I say maybe equality between me and Faith, between Faith and I, that when Faith is given an inner pant for a woman, I'm also supposed to be given one. That is equality, same.
Equal
But equity, if I'm given a vest, you are given the one for female. So I don't think there is equity in Kenya. Personally, I've looked at the distribution of resources and all that. There is some biasness as far as everything is concerned, including governance. And if you look at the political spectrum as well, you find somebody who is 50 years old plus being nominated as an MC, and there is a well-informed youth in that village. You look at a place in Lower Kanyamkago in Migori, or you go to a place like Mombasa. Youths are so much well-informed outside here, but somebody who is 50 years old is being nominated as an MCA without them understand. These people are already old. I normally say that there is nothing these people want to change in the future because they are already in their future. What is someone going to change in the future and they are already in their future? Yes. So why should you nominate somebody who is 50 years old plus, leaving the youth at the expense of the youth? Somebody who is a multi-billionaire. You had the other day the current CS for mining, Hassan Joho, saying that his net worth is 2 billion plus, and he still needs a CS position that earns less than $1 million Kenya shillings. How is that even making sense? Yeah, so I don't think there is equity in Kenya. Yeah.
And they are the same people who are being replaced even in the CS position and other things.
Recycling of rogue individuals.
Yes. Yeah. There was that movement of Gen Z movement, and there were mass demonstrations, and all of a sudden we feel like they are now quiet or something, or what is the next move? Because that nane, the weight that I myself, I can't speak for somebody else, was expecting, I didn't see that magnitude as it was before. Is it that you are now coming into terms with the laws that are being made by the government, or are you now becoming satisfied, or what?
Thank you, Faith. Did you know that at one point in June, we would have such kind of protests? I don't think so many people knew about this.
We didn't know.
This is, let me give you the best term for this Gen Z movement. This is called Hydra. In a Hydra, you cut one head, another one develops. So people think that there are some people somewhere who are actually funding us, the youth, to go to the streets to demand accountability. There are some people seated somewhere. I will term them as cabal of thieves, because basically it's the government. The president himself did not buy into the idea that these people are not being funded. He has refused to buy into that idea. At one point, you heard him mention, the guy is now on the table with the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, that Raila Odinga is funding this thing. At one point, it was Gachagua. At one point, they mentioned Ford Foundation. At one point, they said the youth are doing their own Arambes. So they've failed to realize that this thing is actually organic. And the same way it is organic, the same way it will come back again as an organic. And Hydra, if you cut one head, the other one will automatically come out. So
something else is coming out.
Yes. So I don't want to mention more about it, but let the government know that you can kill revolutionaries, but you can never kill a revolution. I was actually the first person to be arrested when this demonstration began in front of, at the Parliament Road. At the Parliament Road, I was the first person to be arrested. And I was making a lot of noise there, telling these people that we are never going to be tired. They arrested me. I was thrown in the cell, Central Police Station. They released me at midnight. And they told me to walk back home. So, and then the next day when we were going for the protest, I went back to the protest again. And you remember this. These people, they have been in governance. These people were there before us. There are some of the things that these people have learned. And also, when you do something consistently using the same method, somebody will automatically learn your moves. So these people learned the Gen Z moves, some of the Gen Z moves. And there are some parts they started crippling. Let me not lie to you that there were some people were not compromised. Of course, in the movement, there are people who had voices more than other ones. Everybody was equal because everybody was in the street demanding for accountability. If the president made a notice that the CS are going to be taken back home, everybody benefited from that. I didn't benefit as a person. We were all happy because we went to the streets to demand that all this cabal of thieves should resign with immediate effect. The president should sack them. In fact, we wanted the president to sack them and sack himself, so that he said that let me also go home with my fellow thieves. But he refused. But still yet, it is not about those who are vocal than the other ones on the matter who benefited most.
Yes.
Everybody benefited. But there are people who have voices, maybe on social media, people who are influencers more than other ones. Now, there are some people who run shorts that were compromised. That one I cannot lie, and we've been seeing this. So those are some of the branches that the government learnt about, and they decided crippling them. And another tactic that the government used is by bringing the opposition with them. Because remember, as far as we are not going to agree on this, Raila Odinga commands masses in Kenya.
Yes.
He has a lot of influence in Kenya. As far as there are some people who tried hating him, I was seeing on social media, there are some youths who are saying, I've tried hating Raila over the issue that he joined Ruto, but it is impossible. So those are some of the tactics that the government realized. But I want to say this. The rubber has met the road. The revolution is here. The people are still learning. The same way it was organic is the same way it is coming back organic. I don't want to mention which strategy or tactic the people are going to use, but this is the great reset. Let me say this is a great reset. People are seeing it is spiritual and any other term you will use. And at the end of the day, everybody who took part in all those injustices that we are demanding on the streets, and they don't want to bid here, they are going to pay dearly. That they must know. People are boiling with anger out here. They only need that time. When the time is right, the Lord will make it happen, and we will all see. Yeah. So there is nothing that is dead. We have just pulled off a bit to re-strategize, but remember, there is a digital protest as well. That is seriously,
which is more dangerous than
very, very dangerous.
physical.
Remember, just through a radio conversation caused genocide in Rwanda at one point. So let them not relax. Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
Of course. And you are also an advocate for the Azimio, also a champion. But now we have seen some of the key people in Azimio have joined the government. How do you feel now as a party, or maybe when you are affiliated to Azimio?
First of all, currently I'm not affiliated with Azimio La Umoja. I was affiliated with them back in 2022 while I was seriously campaigning for Babu and Baba.
Yeah.
Yes. But since what happened in Bomas after that, I really felt so bad. We went to the streets because personally I was seeing and following up everything that was happening. We went to the streets to demand for justice. We felt our votes have been rigged. And after that, promises were made. We felt that, you see, Baba is going to be with us all along. I can say that personally, I don't feel if Raila is with us right now. I don't feel if Raila is with me currently. Because most of the things that we fought for in the streets, when people were being massacred in Nyalenda slums, when our people were being massacred in the border of Kericho, they didn't talk about these kind of things. Currently, Raila is in the government. I've never heard Raila say anything concerning the people who are massacred in the Nyalenda slums. If ODM, because in a large scale, ODM is affiliated with the Luo. I've not heard him fight for most of these things that are there. As far as there are most of the things that he have done that are good, that people still rejoice up to today. I would say that for the move that they've made, and for the people who are following them, because we collect data from the ground, personally, I'm not boarding that.
I'm talking about the bodies. Do you feel that the bodies that were retrieved at Kayole were those of Gen Zs, or how do you think those bodies found themselves there?
I started by saying something. This is politics, and nothing happens by coincidence in politics. If something happened, it was well planned. Let me start it this way. I think you can remember the Githurai massacre when Jay-Z were demanding for accountability. One night when people are going back home, there are a lot of gunshots. We've seen this just the previous days in Zimmerman as well. Safaricom refused to give people internet. In fact, that was the time KPLC shut electricity for people at specific zones in the country. Yes. The government that we are fighting today, yes, the best they are doing is feeding Western multinational corporations. And the Western multinational corporations are here in Kenya. Yes. So the bodies that were mutilated and thrown in that quarry, those were people who are actually protesting. You cannot tell me, because we started doing, we decided to do a dossier on the guy who was arrested in the name of, throwing bodies in that place after massacring them. Faith, you live in a place, you live in you live at a place where your neighbors know you, you know your neighbors, and these people, they don't sense anything. There is not blood tone anywhere. There is nothing showing that you are a murderer. And then all of a sudden, the government comes after you in the name of, you're the person who is mutilating people and throwing them in that quarry.
That doesn't make sense.
And then you come to realize that the DCI knows the person who threw people in that quarry. But the DCI cannot account the gunshots that we were hearing in Githurai that night and Zimmerman. They can't account for that. They don't know anything about that. But they tell you they know the person who killed all those people who were thrown in the quarry. It is not logic. It is not making any sense. So all these people are in the bed together. And their plan is to make sure that they satisfy their insatiable interest that we keep on talking about here.
But how comes there were no mass demonstration from the parents, maybe who lost their youths? Or how is it that we didn't see that outcry if those bodies were for the Gen Z?
Why do you think you didn't see those outcry? This is the reason. We are living at a point where most of the things that we depend on are actually on media.
Yes.
You get that right? Because somebody who is living in Turkana will only know what is happening in Nairobi through the media.
Yes.
Most of these demonstrations, most of them I said that they were compromised. And one of the areas that the government used was the media. There were some of the media stations that were so vocal that the government decided to. There was a time, you remember when we were breaking into the parliament on 25th of June, yes, and there was a channel that did a breaking news that they've been warned by the government not to air what is going on live.
Yes,
so in this guys, we would say that maybe most of these people who were coming out, because we saw there was a lady who was crying in Georgia that her grandson, who is a student at JKUAT, is still missing up today, and the guy was found in a morgue. So those kind of things. But you come to realize that instead of media airing those kind of important things for the people to see, the media is not airing. So media is one of those sectors that were seriously compromised. Instead
Some
of
are not
airing,
compromised. I think it's just because of intimidation. Also.
Intimidation, I would say that, yes. In this case, intimidation is also a factor that can be used to tone them down. Yeah.
Now, as a youth leader, where are you seeing your youth, your movement in the next 5 years to come?
Personally, I want to inform the youth of the Republic of Kenya. Because people have asked me this question on social media. People have tried asking me, what is the next step? What do you think? I want to tell the youth that to fight with a sword, you need a sword. If you are going to a battle, if you are to follow me to a battle, to fight for justice and people are using guns, you need a gun. And necessarily now in this state, I'm not saying that the youth should also be given guns to go and fight the police in the streets. No, that is not what I mean. What I mean is this, that this is politics. Everything you see is political. I want to tell the youth to go political. Because at the end of the day, everything you are demanding for is in the ballot. We made a mistake in 2022.
Yes.
Remember, 8 million young people in 2022 took their votes, but they never casted. 8 million is a very big number.
Yes.
Remember, Out these Gen Zs, majority of them are just turning 18 and 19, and by 2027, majority of them will be 18 and 19, and they'll be having their identification card and votes. The data collected is as estimated that there are around 12 million. Now, this 12 million plus the 8 million who did not vote in 2022 makes them to 20 million fresh votes that have not been casted.
Yes.
The only way for the youth to win this war, we are going to fight, but these people are more well informed, they are more trained. We will fight this war till 2027, but the end goal is the ballot.
It's a ballot.
The youth who think they want to change something, let them come out, let them be so vocal, because personally I want to inform the youth, let them vie in 2027. Because that thing that they want to change, that they feel somebody cannot change, that 50 or 60-year-old MC in their village cannot change, let them go there, rally and vote and vie for all those positions. So the best thing right now for the youths in this country is to go political, because non-governmental organizations will sponsor you, but remember, they cannot give you a ticket to go politically. They'll give you all those money. The best they can tell you, go youths, young people, demand for what you feel is right. When you are arrested, they'll come for your aid. Yes, but remember, at the end of the day, the ballot counts. So if we've truly learned from the deaths of the people who are thrown in Akware, the people who are killed in the streets, the people who've been arrested, the people who've been abducted, some of them missing up to date, all the billions that have been stolen, the incomplete projects that the president has been hovering around the nation doing, and all the other things that we've been seeing around the nations, our minerals that are being used to feed Western multinational corporations. If we've truly learned something from that, we cannot kick these people out of parliament, out of all those governance positions without the ballot. So, yes, we go political.
Thank you very much, sir. Just one last thing you would want to add, and then we complete.
The youth of the Republic of Kenya, I think we've seen what has been going on in this nation, and I have been one of the people currently at the helm informing you that if you go to a battle where people fight with sword, carry a sword. These people have decided to attack us politically. We must go political, because the end goal of all this fight is in the ballot. If you feel the 50 or 60-year-old MCA in your village does not want to give you accountability, go and replace that person. Personally, I will also be in the ballot come 2027 to vie as a member of parliament in Makadara.
Yes.
And I'm one of the people who are actually fronting this. So if I tell you about something that I feel is going to be harmful to you, how am I going to be part of it as well? Another thing, I am personally fighting for land and our resources. Get something to fight for. We cannot fight for the same thing, all of us. We are more than 20 million youths in this country. If I fight for land and mineral source, another person is supposed to be fighting for something. You saw we made a notice demanding accountability of our mineral source that are being mined in our national parks. The KWS said that there is no mining going on in our national parks. And the evidence was clear when we brought it to light. So these are some of the accountability that we are supposed to be demanding from these people. You have to make noise. We have up to 20 ministries in this country, over 20 CS positions in this country. We have to put ourselves into group. You have to fight a specific ministry that you feel is not giving out the demands that are being aired by the young people. I am going after the Ministry of Lands and Mines. I'm going after the CS for Mines, Ali Hassan Joho. Take a certain ministry and go after it. By 2027, everything is going to be put on the table. And if the government is going to sit on a specific table to discuss anything that is going to shape or rather reshape or rather redeem the lost glory of this nation, and we the youth are not part and parcel of that table, we have to break that table. Thank you.
Thank you all viewers for being with us throughout this journey, and see you next time.